feel like Dora the Explorer. So I've been waiting for this package for a couple days now. It's actually something that shipped or ordered on Friday, or I'm sorry, Monday, shipped yesterday, and then delivered today. So kind of cool. So with everything going on with the Mustang, again, doing some fab work, I decided to order some flanges. I was going to cut them myself, but I figured this place might be worth it. Saw a bunch of stuff on Send Cut Send, and like I said, I figured we'd give them a shot. Cool candy. Yeah, so I wanted these flanges. We're going to make a crossbar for the radiator support, and so being that cutting these out and making sure they work and everything, you know you got to make sure each one is matching because they bolt together. So instead of trying to cut them on the bandsaw and everything else, Send Cut Send, I whipped these together on their program, and it was a total of $30 shipped for 4 stainless steel flanges. These are really nice. I couldn't match this if I wanted to cut these on a bandsaw. There's just no way. This is this is exactly what I wanted. So we're going to use some 1-inch bar stock. Again, I bought a bunch from a buddy of mine, and we're going to replace this upper mount with a removable, or this upper cross member with a removable one, so that way I can get the engine in and out, kind of move some stuff around, as well as open a little bit of room here across the front for the turbo setup. So probably going to cut these out. This is going to fit nicely in here. I'll probably put nuts on the back of this, tack it to the inner structural here, and then the other two that I have remaining we'll put on this bar stock. Like I said, I cut these just an inch is what the oversize is, so I may have to open them up just a hair, but I mean they fit pretty darn good. We'll tack those together and then weld them up, and yeah, more of that to come in this episode. Definitely gonna have to break this video up and go from there. All right, so a plan for today's video and for most of, I guess, this episode is to get started on this cross member support for top of the rad. Stock wise, you could probably leave this. I am not, however, to make my life way easier when I go to install all the other things, LS swaps, things like that. So I guess in the beginning of this, I showed you guys what I ordered from Send Cut Send. It's a couple brackets, or whatever you want to call it. In the process of welding them up, but I want to get this cut out so I can kind of get a game plan where we're going to be. Looks like I'm going to cut it right here, cut it right here. That leaves us with these tabs for the front headlight panel. I'm not sure how I'm going to weld the or attach the tab with the bolts behind it in order to bolt in this piece, but we'll get started by cutting this out and then we'll go from there. Sweet deal. It's kind of exactly what I wanted. Mint. All right. Well, there's no going back now, and that's cool. So yeah, I got these 4 plates cut, and I have one outside that I welded some nuts to the back side, and my plan was to kind of just weld them like this, which honestly, I didn't plan for this radius to be the same as this, but My God, it is close. That's really cool. Like really, really cool. Now, I'm gonna go grab this one. The bolt's welded to it. It's probably gonna be pretty hot since I just welded it maybe 20 minutes ago. Um, yeah, let's see what we got going on here. So on this one, show the camera here. I welded some just standard nuts to it, and these are the bolts I plan on using. Nice Allen bolts. I didn't really think about it when I welded it that these would be pretty rigid in there. It's kind of funny, I guess. Heat and expansion, contraction. No worries. We'll get them out. We'll go from there. So again, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing here. This was just an idea in my brain, which is sometimes a scary thing. Uh, just to make getting the engine in and out. I mean, it's wide open now, which is phenomenal. Being that I hate going up and over things, especially with the front turbo setup that I built and getting all that squared away. I don't really know how much room I'm going to need or have. Um, it was built without anything here. So measurement wise, I measured it to the opening at a Fox body. Didn't plan on getting a new edge, but this was way cheaper than any Fox that I found. So let's see here. All right, so initially these would work except for this bolt. This nut rather lines right up. Now, I think what I could possibly do is notch this section out in order to accept that, which I probably am going to do. I mean, most of this other stuff lines up so close, and I'll probably just run a bead and then a bead, and then maybe I'll build something, piece of stock or something, just to kind of add some support. But um, yeah, this is pretty wild. I didn't expect this. Now, this one, same thing. I'll definitely have to notch this back corner out, which is not really a problem. I'll just make a mark with a marker and notch it out. But I'm gonna run a bead around it and then kind of go from there. Uh, this is pretty wild. I didn't, like I said, didn't realize that the radius for the front of this was going to be almost identical to these plates that I had made. So that's, I don't really know how much better or more you could ask for in that regards. Um, I guess I will get out some sort of cutting tool here, probably the Sawzall, and just notch this out. Um, it's pretty wild how that works sometimes. Um, they ask you on these plans what radius you want, and I just went with one that looked good. And I guess couldn't have been any more better with that. Now, notching this out in the back, it's not really a ton of area to take away. I guess in my next bracket that I build here or weld up, I'm going to make sure these nuts are flat on top just to give me some extra room here. But, this will be the start of that. All right. Get out that Sawzall again, and I'll probably notch that deeper. Also makes it really easy to work on this thing. It is 86 today with 88% humidity, which is, I guess you'd call it at. Bend that back. Actually, you know what? I'll probably go. Let me see how that lands. Oh man, that's like almost perfect. I will have to get rid of that flap because that bolt's gonna probably run through it. But man, oh man, is that cool. Grind these nice and flat with the flap disc. Get a tack here, run a bead. Actually, clean this up, then run a bead. But man, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll get a close-up of it here in a second, but couldn't have worked any better. I mean, I love it when a plan comes together. So I would never claim to be like a professional mechanic or anything like that, but I have a lot of artistic ability. I always have my entire life, and it's starting to really come in clutch with this type of stuff. Cool. All right, so let me get the camera out, much closer view. Apologize, just on a tripod here. But really, what we have going on is this is open, and then these, you know, look at this. These kind of fit just like this. Again, like I was saying just before, just the small adjustments here and there, and I mean, it's pretty wild how close that is. And that's the radius of that corner. So I think putting a bar in here is going to be kind of nice. Like I said, allows room to really just get back all the way there, you know, with the tranny and the engine when I slide it in. But let me clean this up a bit, and then we'll be back. All right, so cleaned up that area, got everything kind of like yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Cleaned up. I'm gonna clean this one up with some acetone real quick. I have a MIG welder. I don't really know how to use it, so we're gonna go ahead and try to TIG this in. I don't know what's gonna happen here. It very well could come out like absolute trash, but we'll find out. I'm not afraid of doing it over if I have to. Everything is fixable. I guess Bob Ross would call it, happy mistakes. So I'm really going to start off just by tacking these in, see where we go. Hey now. I'll clamp close. I don't need to have it that close, but I like to have it that close. And we'll go ahead and get her going here. One thing I can say is that I, again, didn't plan this to happen this way. Kind of just did, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. So it looks like we're going to get that to work. How tight it stays, that's going to be the other kind of thing here, but we'll go ahead and get a couple tacks in her. I knew this was going to happen. So the gap here at the bottom is not that tight, so I'm just kind of fighting. Try to get a clamp, throw a clamp close to that, and then we'll go ahead and get that going. Actually, you know what, I probably can go more here. Nope. Yeah, see, the problem that we're going to have here is that cut is not great and the fitment is not that great. So this is where a MIG welder really would come in handy. But again, I don't really know how to MIG weld. I mean, I guess now would be a better time than ever, but I really would like to TIG these in if I can. Probably not needed. Well, I should say. So, as many of you know, this is all it's all new to me. I'm not a professional by any means. I just really want to teach myself a bunch of new trades, and I get to do so by doing this stuff. So It's probably not right. Not everything's going to be right here, but I'm going to give the old college try, I guess you'd say, and go from there. So that's kind of weird. Something is underneath the paint and it's exploding all over my torch. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it looks like there's paint and that's what's doing it. Huh. Well, we may have to break out the old TIG or MIG. I may have to give this a MIG. Again, no idea what I'm doing, but we're going to try it. I guess the best part is just grind the weld to make them happy. So we've got the ultimate tiny MIG, good old Harbor Freight, and we're going to give it a shot, I guess. It is so hot today. I've soaked through probably 3 t-shirts today. Pretty wild if you ask me. So I did floors with this last time. I'm gonna give it a shot. There we go. They're not great, but they look good from my house. We're going to grind those down and paint them, and they're going to look... Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Well, boys and girls, again, I don't think that's... No, that ain't going nowhere. Schminty, if you ask me. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing in that regard, so forgive me, but let's see what we can do with this. Oh, man. We'll grind them flat, throw a little paint on it. It'd be like the thing was there from the beginning. Oh, man, it is hot. All right. That's it for right now. So, unfortunately, I had to cut this one back off. I guess with all the welding and everything, the nuts got real tight on it, and you couldn't get bolts in or bolts out. I put 2 in. They broke immediately pulling them out. So I think what I'm going to do is get everything tacked, welded into place, and then tack a nut on these 3 that I can get to. And then maybe what I'll do is, I don't know, I'll figure a way to get that one, the top one that's kind of captive. But I can't, I don't want to mess with the fact that, getting a bolt in or out, I can't have them snapping off. So I think like I said, what I'm going to do is get everything welded in, then put the bolts on after I've got everything kind of stuck where it is and it won't be so much heat. I think between welding the bolts onto this and then welding this into place, they either warped or just became too tight from the heat. I don't know if they were going to cool back down, but I had put a bolt in one just to kind of hold it, and I couldn't get it out. And then upon getting it out, it snapped. So what you guys didn't see is me cutting that back off, cutting all the bolts off the back side of it, and then going from there. As far as welding these into place, the MIG is far superior, I guess, than the TIG, or at least makes it way easier. So we'll go ahead and MIG this one back in too. Now, I guess with this one, I wonder if I'll probably MIG, tack it in, and then I might try to use a hammer to kind of break that one down just a hair, or bring down that piece. So go ahead and get started. Okay. This welder has been really finicky as far as grounding goes. I don't understand what's going on, but it's just not that clean like I thought it was. I don't know. Try this. All right. Ground that to that. Like I said, I want to get a hammer and try to hammer that rad support down a little bit. It is so hot, it's unbearable. I'll probably get these tacked in or welded in, and then that's going to be it for this video. It's just too hot. And that's not what I wanted to do, but it looked like it worked, so I guess that's a plus. Whoops. Go. I guess try this again. All right. Clean these welds off because that's what's holding me up here. It's funny, this is a very cheap MIG welder, but it does the job. all I did with that inside is I had a hole cut out for the other ones, and all I'm doing is tacking it. There's a piece of flat stock that runs across it, so just figure I'd tack that in place and go from there. I think from there, guys, or boys and girls, whatever you want to call them, men and ladies, his and hers, we're going to call it quits. It's just too hot. I'm baking out here, and that's it. I'll have more as we go, but for today, I think we're going to call it quits there.